Download the BetMGM Sports app and place a $10 moneyline wager on any NBA playoff game to win $200 in free bets if either team hits a three-pointer. Use code CHAMPION200. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Virginia only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is another episode of my podcast, my ideas and works as an author. Today we will speak about rationality. We are here in the pandemic. I'm in Ordu in Turkey, and I hope that you all are doing fine. Imagine you want to travel somewhere. Imagine you work in an office. This office is boring. This work is in a way exhausting. You haven't been out in a while. You haven't had fun in a while. And you understand fun as somewhere you can seclude yourself, can enjoy the fruits of your labor, just switch off and so on. Imagine you go on the internet or travel agency, wherever you book your flights, and you decide you want to go somewhere abroad, somewhere. So on an island, have blue water, beautiful beaches. They are rare in our time, global warming, whatever, but you have found a destination and you have made up your mind, you want to go there, travel there. You get in the airplane, you have packed the necessities, the only necessary things. Somehow you thought to yourself, you will eventually find something there to buy, to wear, whatever you have. So you get in the plane, everything looks nice. The airplane takes off easy cheesy. You are very comfortable. You enjoy your first margarita on an airplane. I don't know whether they allow alcohol to drink in airplanes anymore. Well, I saw some who drank. However, you don't care. You enjoy it. Great stuff. Great atmosphere. You look down. You see blue water. You see the ocean. You see some islands, and all of a sudden, dear me, boom, something happens. Turbulences. Oh dear me. Something seems to be wrong with the engine of the airplane. Something wrong. Everyone is frantic. You see stewardess and people running around in a frenzy. Everything is in chaos, in disarray. Then even more trouble emerges when the airplane seems to drop significantly or fall and back and forth. You go through quite a shaking, for a wobble. Some people in the airplane start screaming. It is deafening. You get scared. Jesus, you make your prayers, and you see the blue water, the blue down, and some islands are approaching. Pardon me. You see them approaching. This could be your end, and you speak your last prayers. And a huge crash. It takes a while. You see that the cabin is filled with water, or else you see the airplane dives deep down onto the ocean. People can't open the doors and so on and so forth, but we will not go into detail. But the airplane crashed away right into the ocean. People are drowning, and you somehow have managed to survive. You have managed to swim ashore. You are the only one. You tried to help people. You are not an uncivilized person. However, You are the only one who survived. You swim on shore and you see back. Nothing is left of the airplane. It is just sunken somewhere deep into the ocean. This happens. It drags you down. So everything that is in the airplane, and if you once deep down on the ocean, well, your chances are almost zero that you will ever get up, even though you still are alive for a couple of days in that airplane. It all depends how much air it is. However, nothing is left in the airplane. You are the sole survivor. It is like if you want all those stupid Robinson Crusoe TV shows we have been watching for the last 10, 15 years. Yeah, well, you some way have to manage your survival. Well, at least you assume that help is on the way. You assume the pilot did not leave the airplane prematurely, did not jump out of the cockpit at the first turbulence. He probably made an SOS call. You are very confident. Yeah, well, we live in the 21st century. People look after airplanes. At least you assume so. And then you assume, that you will be eventually rescued. You look around on the beach like you have expected. You don't know anything about the tropical weather. You don't know anything about the tropical plants. It is a small island. Well, you can count yourself lucky if you can make it the next couple of days. So now you are the sole survivor. This is our first scenario. You're the sole survivor, and you sit down on the beach and you start thinking. Start thinking in that sense, what should I do? Now, the most rational thing, and everyone would agree with us, is that you manage to survive. Why? Because you expect that help is on the way. Even though if there wouldn't be help on the way, you still assume this is something you have to do. You have to survive. You have been given a smart brain. This is what evolution granted humans, despite the fact we are not very well adapted like animals to our environment. However, but we have a very successful and a very competitive or a very good brain, and our brain's first task is to solve problems. This is what our ancestors throughout the millennia did in the Stone Age. Whatever your brain tries to figure out, tries to come up with an idea how to survive, how to hunt animals, whatever, how to find beers, which food you can process and make edible, and so on and so on. So this is what our brain is tuned to do. Somehow find a way to survive for meaning. It doesn't have to be just for the rescue, but survival. And this would be considered as very rational. And the definition of rationality, or what is being considered a rational behavior, would be that rationality is based on logic and reason. So you have a reason to survive, to maintain your personal life, and rational is in a way economic. You serve your own benefit. Surviving, hopefully, is understandable for everyone. This is for your own benefit. You have an innate desire to survive. This is what we would in the beginning just state, and we will later analyze it. So you survive. You are on the island, and those who have seen those Robinson Crusoe expeditions and reality crap and so on, they know, you look around on the island and you try to find something to survive. You try to find something that is edible. You probably or not either not have to protect yourself against animals. We will see about this later. We will analyze this later. However, you some sort of make about means, and in the hope you are a civilized man, that you will eventually be rescued. And you some sort of make rational means. So you're on the island, there's scarce resources. If you're smart and if you find something edible, you will some sort of ration your food, because you don't know when help will come, when you will be rescued. So you ration your stuff, and then eventually you hope and pray, whatever you, that somewhere someone has heard this SOS call of the pilot, which is very likely in our days. Everything is well connected. However, still airplanes disappear, so are people. However, and then you make ends meet. This is the first scenario, and it would be pretty much fair and logical and reasonable that you survive. So it would be rather not very understandable if you just, you will be, of course, depressed. This is happening quite a lot. I mean, if you go through a tragedy, this is a shock, this is a horror. In the beginning, you are always depressed. You don't have the strength to some sort of continue. You lose faith. But let's say if you're in a situation and you know, that is your chances of survival are zero, then of course in the beginning you lose faith, you lose strength and so on. But this faith and this strong strength you regain most of the time. There is an innate will in you which drives you, which forces you to think about a solution, and even it is a stupid one, and even if you think that solution will not yield any results, however, in your despair you go for it, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it does not. However, there comes a moment in your life where you say, whatever, you are with your back against the wall. From now on, there's only one way you can go, and this is forward. You just have to push it, and so on. However, in our first scenario, you are the sole survivor. You are not very skilled, so let's go a little bit in the detail. You worked your whole life in an office. You don't know anything about survival. You have never been in the nature. You don't know anything about Robinson Crusoe. Well, you have been watching, I don't know, reality shows of the other kind movies. You don't know anything how to survive. You have never cared about it, and your safe haven was always this civilized world you have been living in. However, if you want to say, you just don't know how it, so you have to start at zero and you have to learn something through it. That's the first scenario. Our second scenario is, again, the plane crashes. Again, you manage to survive, swim on shore on the only island which seems to be on this blue desert, on this blue salty nothing. However, this time someone else has survived with you. This is a male. Let's give him a gender. This is very important later. Let's give this second survivor a gender. Let's say it is a male, and this person has survived with you. You understand each other. You don't know each other. You have never seen each other before. Only on the airplane or on the airport where you checked in. You glanced fleetingly at the people. You saw them. Well, you did not travel with any friends. You are not this kind of social guy. Let's say you're a bit social awkward, what have you, and you don't know anyone there you did not travel with any friends, whatever. So there is another survivor next to you. You don't know him, but you are somehow connected through this tragedy. You two are the ones who survived it, and now you some sort of want to make amends and so on. And then you again act rationally, and rationally would mean that you ensure your survival, help is on the way, hopefully, and that you will get out of this in a way or another. But now there is a problem. It is a small island. You don't know when help will arrive, and this other person, to be specific, there are not enough resources. Well, help could be on the way tomorrow. Help could be on the way weeks from now on, so you can never say it is a huge ocean, and you have to, and those rescuers, they have to cover a huge area to find you. Who knows? Will they find you? Your mind, your doubtful mind tells you after you saw the width of the ocean that this could be pretty much tricky, that you probably could have to hold on these islands for a couple of days, even weeks. And then you see, with your companion, you walk through the island. This is your male companion. You are a heterosexual man who will... this is not that we are some sort of androcentric, or that we want only show from a male perspective, but this is going to be important for later. So for the time being, we assume this is a male companion. You are a heterosexual man, so you are not sexually interested in this person, to be clear. However, and you roam the island, and you understand, the island is small, you don't have enough resources, and it is going to be pretty much tricky that you will survive there. Especially survive long enough until help is on its way. So there are scarce resources. And rationality means to think in terms of economic. Make the best of your rational, of the resources you have on hand. Your mind, your superior human mind finds a way around any difficulty, what have you. However, in that sense, you see you some sort of have reached the borders of your possibility, since the island is your natural border. There is you can only eat what is on the island. Nothing else is in sight. Around you is only blue ocean and fish. You don't see anyone, and no one knows anything about hunting. And your companion is like you. He doesn't know anything about survival. He's of no use. He's a slug like you, and so on. So now you are both strength, and now you two know that the resources are scarce. You know that the water, let's say there's some fresh water there, but this water somehow has gathered through rainwater. This is rainwater which has gathered in a place, and this rainwater is not enough for all of you, for you two, and as well as the food. There are some fruits which is not enough. So you two know that you will probably not survive long enough to see help arrive. However, what would be rational? And now everyone would say, what would be the most rational thing you could do in that sense? Resources are scarce. You don't have enough water. The scarce resources cannot feed two of you. Now the most rational thing would be, and some of you may have thought about this is murder. This would be the most rational thing, because you have to ensure your survival. your economic thinking has to benefit you. You have thought about all other alternatives. Your companion is of no use for you. And then you decide, I cannot let this person take away the last resources. The island, this small island, cannot feed two people. Yeah, well, what do you do? Murder. This would be, in that sense, most rational. I do understand that this solution may sound for some horrifying. Oh my goodness, murder. How can this be rational? Well, this is indeed very common, especially in old Victorian England. There is a very famous trial. There was a very famous trial where sailors stood on trial for cannibalism. And cannibalism was very common back in the days, not only among sailors, but in general. So when food was scarce, people would start eating each other. I mean, cannibalism was very common among the crusaders. Cannibalism is, or at least some say still practiced in some areas in Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. Well, there are a lot of prejudices. I don't assume that this still is happening there. Let's hope it is not happening there. However, cannibalism, in this trial, where I think two sailors ate a young man, they ate his liver, they killed him and ate his liver, and this was very common on sailors. And normally you would not stand on trial for this, because if you have to ensure your survival, this is reasonable in that sense. I mean, I have to be very careful. However, but in this trial against these sailors, this happened in Great Britain. Please don't ask me the exact date. I think it was in the Victorian era, and there these sailors stood on trial because people wanted to bring an end to cannibalism among sailors, because it was pretty much rampant in that sense. So it is not, if you want, or the reason why I bring this up is that cannibalism, that if you are stranded on your on an island, it is not something alien. I mean, we have not talked about cannibalism. Right now, we only want to talk about that you just get rid of your opponent, because this becomes your opponent when you vie for resources in a world where you have to fight for your survival. The most rational thing would be, you get rid of your opponent. You get rid about someone who steals away your food. I mean, this is pretty much harsh what we are saying here, and it is indeed controversial. And we will come to this, and you will understand later why we emphasize that that your companion is a male and that you are heterosexual. Wait though. So the most rational thing, let's get rid of him, and you do it. You want to ensure your survival. I remember a second incident. This was an incident in South America. This was again a car. This was a plane incident somewhere. I think a group of students had a plane crash somewhere in the Andes, and they could not find food. They could not make anything or find anything edible. It was winter, and they then started eating their comrades. And this is something I assume happened in the 60s or 70s. Please again, don't ask me about the exact date, but we have another reason why it is pretty much rational, even though it is gross, it is hideous. I mean, eating your companions, well, this is something you have to get through it, let's say, especially if they are equals. Well, this is place them if they are equals. However, in order to come back to our example in our second scenario, well, you get rid of your opponent. Well, this is gross. Well, you did not like this, but you decide we cannot survive together. This is, of course, a bet, because you could get rid of your opponent for those scarce resources. You could get rid of it, yet the next day help could arrive. So this is some sort of a bargain what you have to go in, and this is your character decides whether you are patient enough to wait another day or not. But you see the rainwater which has gathered, I don't know, somewhere in a ditch, in a leaf, some sort of runs out. That is on. You are surrounded by salt water. You cannot drink this water. Fish. Well, you don't know how to fish. This is not very easy, because there are not everywhere lagoons where there are a lot of fish. However, you struggle. Well, help may not be on the way. And now, let's say you are a decent human being. You are not rash or stupid or whatever. You wait 1 or 2 days. Let's say this is the civil patience, and after 1 or 2 days you decide, well, I don't know this person, I've never seen him, I have no connection to him whatsoever, and I'm not cold-hearted, but, well, this is life. And then you get rid of him. You have no, again, I emphasize, you have no special connection and bond to this person. Well, if this would be a friend, I hopefully you would not go so far. Let's hope. Or a family member, let's hope you would not do that. Now we are in our third scenario. Let's say again you are on the airplane. Again you are there, but before you went into the airplane, a lot of women. You have noticed a lot of women getting into this airplane. Now I assumably have the attention of male listeners. A lot of attractive women, well, attractive or beauties in the eye of the beholder, what you find as attractive, whatever it is you see, they get into the airplane, they probably travel to the place where you are going to be, and you as well will have a good time. They are not with their boyfriends, assumably they are single like you, and you are single as well. This is something we did not mention. You are single as well. You did not go on a secluded island because you wanted to pick up girls. No, this is not. You are not that superficial. You are not that shallow. Well, but your primary goal was to switch off, have a good time. You want to sit back and just enjoy the sun, the beach. This was your goal. You did not think about meeting a girl because you have been living or you have been working in the office for quite a while, and you have your eyes set on one girl, but she did not notice or recognize you. Whatever the reason, well, you some sort of still have eyes for her, and maybe this may work out or maybe not. This is what in the TV show Office you have. Well, with Jim and Pam, well, maybe it will, maybe in the end you come together with her or not. So, however, you have not decided yet. And you go there, see on the airport some indeed beautiful women who get in the airplane in the same airplane with you, and then again, the engine failure, let's make it dramatic. A poor little bird flies into the engine. This might happen or might not happen, who knows. Flies into the engine, destroys the engine, and again the airplane goes down. And again, you're stranded. But this time, your companion is a woman. You are a heterosexual man. You are not frigid. You have, let's say, healthy with you in a sense, and you are there with a woman. And this woman happens to be attractive. This woman happens to be young. At least, let's be very careful. This woman is attractive to you. You find her appealing. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She is appealing. And again, but nothing has changed. Your resources are scarce. Your rational thing, or the most rational thing what people would say to you is that you just kill her, or that she kills you. This is all possible. So if she is smarter than you or outwits you, she could kill you as well. So this is again the same problem you have. You are not. You don't assume that you are going to make it. You are not. You do not assume that you are going to make it. And now the resources are scarce. But now you will probably hesitate killing her. Why? Because everyone would assume, yeah, well, if you're close, if you're a cold rationalist, well, I have to be very careful here. Well, cold is my interpretation, or I would rather say a cold interpretation. But you would assume, in a strictly rational way, that you get rid of her. This is an attractive woman. You want to, of course, be with her. And she's nice as well. Let's say she's very appealing in her characters as well. So it is not only all about sex. This is a nice girl, all-American girl. Everyone can get along with a nice human being. Nice human. She is sexually attractive to you and appealing to you. But, however, the most rational thing would be to get rid of her so that you can ensure your survival. But now you hesitate. Why do you hesitate? Or is it only an assumption? Or would everyone agree here? Who cares about this woman? Who cares about her at all? I don't care whether she's attractive or appealing. I think of myself in a certain way, and I would kill you. Well, some would assume, or think that way. Assumably, some would think that way, and then they would accuse me of making this thing up because, well, it is rational as well to get rid of her. And it assumes that way. However, but there is something which I want to talk about as well. This is some sort of biological rationalism. This is something I would assume you have. This is what we have, something innate. First of all, we would say that we are egoistic in a sense to ensure our survival. We would, every man would does that, and especially if you are with a group of men, you always will some sort of try to make your best of it, get ahead of it, and ensure your survival. But then there is a woman who would be a mating partner as well. You could some sort of pass on your genes to you. With her, you can create offspring, even though it would be very stupid on an island with scarce resources. But however, you feel some sort of something which prevents you from doing it. Biological rationalism, and this would then mean that you some sort of want to ensure, or that we have some sort of innate willingness or demand to copulate with other women, create offspring. This is something deeply human. And this is what would pretty much strike you at a way. Then the second thing is, because you're a heterosexual man, because you are attracted to her, because she's nice, whatever, you have already a special bond with her. So she's not just anyone whom you can dispense with. She's, if you want, some sort of a sexual partner for you, someone you can mate, someone you can be together, and you feel a deep connection and desire to keep her alive. This is some sort of inner biological rationalism. It is not about your survival anymore. It is that about the survival of the next generation, that you ensure the survival of the future, if you want, of your offspring. You see this woman, this attractive woman, as a mating partner, as a possibility, or just to see her as an object of pleasure. This is rational as well. You are a heterosexual man. This is an attractive woman. You find her appealing, and she is, and you, of course, desire her and want to have sex with her. And their things differ in that sense, through this desire, through this urge in yourself that you want to have funny kid with her, have sex with her, be together with her. She has a special bond to you. You have therefore created an emotional bond, which you may have or may not have had with another guy. Well, we have some sort of left out friendship. We will talk about friendship later. However, for the sake of this narration, of this thought process, we some sort of left out friendship, and we only look at pure desire, and that you of an attractive woman. So you may be or may not think on an island with scarce resources, on an offspring. You never thought about children, however, but this is an attractive woman. You desire her. You want to have sex with her. You want to be with her, but not in a violent way. You are not a savage. You're not an animal. However, you're still on this island. You have some human manners, gentleman. You're still a gentleman. However, she then becomes a special connection, or she then has a special connection to you. This is, for example, one of the reasons why there are so many men who say, "I do not hit women." Well, good for you. But this again proves the connection you have, and this connection is then different. So it is not necessarily to create an offspring, but you have some sort of a desire, your loneliness. This could be another reason. This is what you have with friendship as well. So you don't want to be alone. You may have scared, or you are scared of the dark. You don't want to be alone with anyone, and so on and so forth. However, in one sense, that you would let her live would be irrational. In a sense, this would pretty much stick out at first. So this is not for your own benefit anymore. You are scarce. You could starve to death. And if you two die, then no one of you survives. So either way, one of you should survive, or we would assume should survive, so to see another day. But if none of you some sort of gets rid of the other, this means that you both are doomed. And well, there won't be any hope for you. This is something we would call irrational. This is not very smart. However, yet you may not do this. You may not kill her. You may not get rid of her, because she has this special bond to you, because you desire her sexually, because you have, through this desire to her, a special bond. And so on and so on. And this special bond prevents you from let's say, in a most savage way to get to kill her and eat her. This is cannibals. Well, we would not assume that, or we always assume that cannibalism is, this is, I think we will not talk too much of cannibalism, but cannibalism is, especially if you analyze cannibalism in Papua New Guinea, their cannibalism is rather in one sense to get rid of your opponent. This is mostly a male opponent. You get rid of him, and the second thing, or the second aspect of cannibalism is that you some sort of absorb the powers of your opponent in devouring his flesh. This is what we know was practiced in Papua New Guinea, where cannibalism was of use, was still was practiced. So there's two main reasons, and this was to get rid of an opponent. This is mostly a sexual nature, and the second thing is to absorb his powers. Yet a woman, in that sense, is biologically not your opponent, but rather the opportunity for you to perceive pleasure, to be attracted to someone, perceive well-being, whatever it is. A woman in that sense is different. So therefore you may hesitate getting rid of her and letting her live. However, in a sense, even though it may seem irrational at first, it is rational in a biological sense. Biologically rational would be that you some sort of have the family in the center. This is not you anymore. This is about you, your wife, your children, and their biological rationalism would be that you ensure the survival of your offspring, that you ensure the survival of a group, of the future, and so on and so forth. So, and we some sort of boiled it down to gross desire, in a sense, not gross desire, but to mere desire, to only desire, sexual desire. So I let her live because I hope that I can have sex with her. However, we some sort of boiled it down to that. So you have some sort of urge in you, of course, to survive, but this is in a way a broader definition of survival, that you some sort of survive in passing on your genes to the next generation. This is what survival as well as means. So, and this is what we are told to do, human beings. So this is some sort of, many men or women want children in a way to pass on their genes to the next generation. You have again this innate urge to do so because this is again part of your survival instinct. So this would be still in the framework of survival, that you let her live because she some sort of entails the possibility of your survival, even though it is smart at this specific moment with scarce resources. It is not smart, however, but it is from a biological perspective smart, rational. We will continue about talking about this topic the next time. This was Adam Kibas from Ordu in Turkey. We are in the pandemic, and I hope that you will take care of yourselves. Bye.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.